Welcome to the Phoenix Police Department's False Alarm Prevention class. This class is provided pursuant to the Phoenix City Code Article 9 Alarm Systems. The ordinance dictates that the police department shall provide an educational program for the prevention of false alarms. The police department shall allow an alarm subscriber or proprietor alarm owner to attend any false alarm prevention program for the purposes provided in the ordinance related to false alarm prevention. Hello and welcome to the City of Phoenix False Alarm Prevention Program. You are probably attending this class because you received notification that a false alarm occurred at your business or residence. In your notice, there is information advising that you can attend this class to have one assessment waived for a false alarm. You may also be attending this class for educational tips on how to prevent false alarms at your residence or business. During this program, we will work to familiarize you with the Phoenix City Code as it pertains to false alarms and how you can help with prevention. During this presentation, you will be provided with resources and materials pertaining to the Phoenix City Code as it relates to your alarm. We will define what constitutes the label of false alarm. We will also go over your responsibilities as the alarm subscriber. As an alarm system owner, it is your responsibility to be knowledgeable of the requirements of the City of Phoenix and comply with the City Code. By the end of this program, you will have information on how to reduce false alarms and unnecessary costs associated with false alarms. In the City of Phoenix Alarm Unit, we manage an average of 160,000 alarm systems annually. The Alarm Unit provides customer service assistance to both alarm subscribers and alarm companies. We help subscribers with new alarm permits, annual permit renewals, false alarm review requests, and appeal hearings. We also process false alarm assessments and fines. We are available by phone at 602-534-0322 Monday through Friday, excluding city holidays, from 8 a.m. to 4:50 p.m. You can also reach us by email at alarm.unit@phoenix.gov. Let's go over a few of your responsibilities as the alarm subscriber according to the City of Phoenix Alarm Ordinance. You are required to submit and maintain a valid permit with the City of Phoenix Police Department Alarm Unit. The permits are issued for burglar, fire, and do-it-yourself systems. Failure to apply for and receive an alarm subscriber permit can result in a fine or an assessment for the first and second false alarm activations. The continued operation of the alarm system without obtaining the required permit is unlawful. The permit allows your alarm company's central monitoring station and the 911 center to dispatch the alarm call quickly, eliminating the time needed for repetitive information. A valid permit also ensures there is accurate information on file for each alarm location. Now let's discuss what enhanced call verification means. The Phoenix City Code requires enhanced call verification. ECV, or two-call verification, means that your alarm company is required to make a minimum of 2 telephone calls in an attempt to contact a responsible party prior to making an alarm dispatch request to the police department. The 2 calls must be made to different telephone numbers. While on the phone with your alarm company, you have the ability to stop the police from being dispatched to the alarm. If you advise your alarm company or monitoring service that you want police dispatched, make sure that you or another responsible party arrives at the scene to meet the officers. This is required per the Phoenix City Code. Once you arrive at the scene of an activated alarm, you will be able to assist the officers in determining what activated the alarm system. Only the business or residence owner knows if there is damage to a door or window or what has been taken from their premises. If a responsible party, preferably with keys, does not respond to the alarm activation to meet the police officers, the officers can only check what is accessible to them. Alarm activations are caused by a variety of reasons. Some of the common reasons are realtors, visiting relatives, equipment malfunctions, open or unsecured doors and windows, helium balloons, and pets, just to name a few. The good news is that many of these types of activations can be prevented. There is a reason for every alarm activation. It is your responsibility, the alarm owner and your alarm company, to determine the cause of the alarm and to remedy the problem to prevent additional occurrences. Many equipment problems can be prevented with proper maintenance and occasional service and maintenance of your alarm system. An alarm system is like a car. It needs to be serviced at least every 12 months. A proper maintenance program can prevent false alarms that occur due to low batteries, dirty contacts, unsecured magnets, etc. In fact, City Code requires an annual inspection of alarm systems. Consider having your alarm company inspect and test your alarm system annually. Preventative maintenance can help prevent false alarms and save you from expensive repairs when done by a trained technician. Now let's move on to alarm system maintenance. Some of the basic maintenance and inspecting of your system can be done by you, the subscriber. You can check your doors and windows to make sure they are closing properly and that the contact switches are lining up. Make sure the areas around the contact switches and motion detectors are clean and free of dust and debris. You can also check for any exposed or damaged wiring attached to your security devices. If during your inspection you notice items that may require repair, you can contact your alarm company for additional assistance. It is important to contact your alarm provider or monitoring company prior to testing your system and again once you have completed the testing. Another helpful tip is to have your alarm system tested following any work done on telephone lines, as there could be issues with your system communicating with the central monitoring station. Alarms were originally designed to detect intrusion, protect lives, and property. Properly installed, used, and maintained alarms are a real asset. When misused, they can become a burden and a liability for the owner and the community. The City Code defines a false alarm as all alarms except for fire alarms. Any activation of an alarm which results in a police response to the premises on which the alarm system is located, unless the alarm is caused by or the result of a criminal act, unauthorized entry, or attempted unauthorized entry. The City Code defines fire alarms as any activation of an alarm which is caused by an equipment malfunction and which results in a fire response to the premises on which the alarm system is located. You are required to maintain a valid permit on file with the Phoenix Police Department Alarm Unit for all burglar and fire alarm systems. This includes the do-it-yourself or DIY systems, even if you are monitoring your own system. If you have both burglar and fire alarms on one panel, you will only need one permit. If your burglar and fire alarm systems are independent of each other, consisting of two separate panels, you will require two permits. One permit for the burglar panel and one for the fire panel. Each year, false alarms cost millions of dollars and thousands of hours in officer response time. According to the Center for Problem-Oriented Policing in the United States in 2002, police responded to approximately 36 million alarm activations at an estimated annual cost of $1.8 billion. The Phoenix Police and fire departments and alarm companies spend a significant amount of time and money responding to and investigating false alarms. The Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services also notes that 96 to 98% of calls for service requesting an officer respond to an address for an alarm activation are false. This leaves a small margin of 2% where there is evidence of an actual crime that caused the alarm activation. These statistics were published in the False Burglar Alarms Second Edition Guide Number 5 in 2007. Currently, the assessment for the Phoenix Police to respond to a false alarm is around $100 per incident. The cost of the false alarm is the responsibility of the subscriber, alarm owner, and/or the proprietor alarm owner. There are many factors considered when calculating the cost for false alarm response. When the Phoenix Police Department 911 Center receives a report of an alarm activation, either from an alarm company central monitoring station or from a private individual, several wheels are set in motion. The 911 operator answers the initial call and obtains the necessary information that officers need to respond and check the location. The call is then sent to a radio dispatcher for an assignment to an available patrol unit. Under normal circumstances, a minimum of 2 patrol officers are sent to each alarm activation. Contrary to popular belief, they are not dispatched from a precinct. Officers are continuously driving throughout the city and are dispatched after they have completed a previous call. Response times vary depending on the calls for police service in the area. Depending on the information given at initial request from your alarm company, a canine unit or the air unit may be called for assistance in checking the premises for suspects. The Phoenix Police Department handles each alarm activation call as an actual criminal act until the premises have been checked and it has been determined that an attempt break-in or criminal act has not been committed. If a criminal act has not occurred, an officer reports the false alarm to our unit by completing a false alarm card with details about the incident and what they encountered at the scene of the call. The cost related to police response to a false alarm is your responsibility, the subscriber. The city code currently allows your first false alarm with a valid permit at no charge, and if applicable, a second false alarm can be waived for attending this false alarm prevention program. When we notify you of the initial false alarm, our letter gives specific information about the day and time the alarm occurred, along with our contact information. Our customer service staff will help you with any questions, and if we are contacted in the time frame allotted in the letter, you will have the opportunity to bring your alarm permit into valid status in order to avoid a false alarm assessment. I'm sure you're wondering what happens after you have used the first free false alarm, so let's go over that information. When a second false alarm shows up in your account, a letter is generated notifying you of the alarm and that an invoice will be sent to you. This same notification will occur for all subsequent false alarms within a consecutive 365-day time frame. When you receive this letter, you still have the opportunity to appeal and provide proof of an actual crime. If you reach 10 false alarms within a 365-day time frame, it is unlawful for you to continue to use your alarm system until you complete the following 3 actions. The first required action would be that the alarm subscriber or proprietor alarm owner successfully completes the false alarm prevention program and submits proof of completion to the Phoenix Police Department's alarm unit or files with the police department a certificate, work order, or notice from the alarm company certifying alarm user training on the alarm system. The training shall include the operation of the alarm system, false alarm prevention measures, cancellation and verification procedures, and responsible party contact requirements and responsibilities. The second required action is to have the alarm system inspected by a city alarm inspector designated by the director of the police department or director of the fire department as applicable to determine that the alarm system is in good working order or in need of repair. You, the alarm subscriber or proprietor alarm owner, shall be present and participate in the inspection. Your alarm company must also have a representative present at the time of the inspection. The representative shall provide reports, records, and technical assistance to determine if the alarm system is in good working order or repaired as needed to work properly. As part of the inspection process, a $200 fee has to be submitted. The inspector collects this fee from you at the time of the inspection. Another important fact is that once a final determination of assessment pursuant to the city code, if there are an additional 3 false alarms that occur following the inspection and within a consecutive 365-day period, it shall be unlawful for the alarm subscriber, proprietor alarm owner, and the alarm business to continue operation of the alarm or alarm system. This means that if the system continues to operate, any person violating the previously discussed provisions can be found guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor, which is punishable by a fine not exceeding $2,500 or even imprisonment. Let's talk about some of the most common reasons for false alarms. One we see a lot is that people are not disarming an alarm system in a timely manner. If you have already set your alarm and realize you forgot something, make sure you disarm the system instead of trying to beat the countdown clock and run back inside to gather your items before the system arms. Another very common reason is that people forget or were not given the alarm passcode. If you schedule to have people in your home or business that are not familiar with your alarm system, make sure you discuss with them the proper procedures for using the system and how to properly cancel an alarm activation. Equipment malfunction can also cause false alarms. If you notice your equipment is malfunctioning, contact your alarm provider immediately. You will hear me mention batteries a couple of times during this presentation due to the fact that the Arizona heat causes batteries to have a shorter lifespan, requiring frequent replacement. Remember, call your alarm company right away if you have accidentally set off your alarm to make sure police are not dispatched. There are several tips to prevent false alarms. Some suggestions we can provide for common reasons that cause false alarms. Don't point alarm sensors at windows. Don't place alarm sensors near air vents, ceiling fans, or a fireplace. Make sure if you have a pet that you discuss options for a pet-friendly system to be installed. A small pet that stays close to the ground, such as a small dog or cat, should not trip your motion sensors. Pets such as cats or birds, on the other hand, are able to jump or fly in such a way that a motion sensor can be tripped. Other common reasons for false alarms are mylar balloons and holiday decorations left in spaces with sensors. You should also replace batteries in your alarm equipment every 2 to 3 years. Other issues that are not quite as common but may result in false alarms from time to time include an alarm panel that has been attached to an electrical circuit and is powered on and off by a light switch. City code requires that power to the alarm panel needs to be a dedicated 24-hour power supply. Never unplug your alarm, as you may forget to plug it back in and it may cause an alarm to trigger. This means that you cannot flip a light switch on and off to disable and enable your alarm system. Contact your alarm company if you experience a power outage and your system is without power for more than 10 hours. Most panels will send out a low battery alert if your backup battery is low. Check with your alarm company to see if your system includes this feature. Your batteries will stop working because the power is out and they are not being charged. Here is an example of a panel that is powered by a light switch. You can see how someone could accidentally flip the light switch off, turning off your alarm system. This would in turn have the potential of causing an alarm activation, causing a false alarm. You can help prevent most alarms by following some simple suggestions. Have your alarm company contact phone numbers next to your alarm panel so they are readily available. Make sure that all authorized users are familiar with passwords or codes that the alarm company will ask when you call to cancel an alarm. You should also make sure you update the names and phone numbers of authorized persons with your alarm company. Let me give you an example of why this is important. You have a planned trip out of town and have a family member coming over to take care of your pets, and they accidentally forget to disarm the alarm upon entry to your house. The alarm company calls to check if assistance is needed, and your family member has a code, but they are not listed as an authorized person with the alarm company. In this situation, the alarm company continues with sending police because your family member is not authorized on your account. This would result in a false alarm. Another helpful tip is to keep the alarm company phone number saved in your phone, so when they call you during an alarm activation, their name will appear on your screen as your alarm company, prompting you to answer. Many subscribers advise us that they didn't know the alarm company tried to call them because they don't answer 1-800 phone numbers, thinking they are spam or telemarketing calls. If the call from the alarm company was answered by the subscriber, in most cases, this would help prevent the dispatch of police. Remember that anyone who has access to your property, extended family, kids, your handyman, cleaning crews, they should all be trained on how to properly use the system and the steps required to cancel an accidental alarm activation. Your alarm company is required by the City of Phoenix Alarm Code to provide you with a copy of the Phoenix City Code at the time of installation, a copy of the City of Phoenix Alarm Permit application, and to show you how to properly operate your alarm system. Your alarm company should help you complete and sign the application along with ensuring the form is submitted to our unit. The form must be signed by you and your alarm company representative before submission to the police or fire department. If you notice something is not working properly, such as your keypad or key fob, please contact your provider immediately and request service for your equipment. They may be able to help you with troubleshooting over the phone. Keep in mind that if you have a wireless alarm system, they are powered by batteries and may need to be replaced in order to prevent equipment malfunctions. Remember, equipment malfunctions and user error are considered false alarms if your alarm company dispatches officers to respond to an alarm activation. We frequently are asked if a self-installed and self-monitored system or a do-it-yourself system falls under the same requirements per the Phoenix City Alarm Code. The answer is yes, you are still required to obtain a permit and renew the permit annually. If you call the police department and request officers to respond to an activation from your self-installed system and it is found to be false, you will be held responsible for any assessments or fines associated with the police response to a false alarm. If you are the owner of the alarm system that has a self-installed and self-monitored, it is your responsibility to submit a completed alarm application along with the permit fee to the City of Phoenix Alarm Unit. If you incur a false alarm, you will be notified of the date and time of the occurrence along with the information to contact the alarm unit. The notice will give detailed information instructing you how to proceed after a false alarm has occurred. Be mindful that the City Code allows 20 days to initiate an appeal once you have been notified of a false alarm. If you do not initiate an appeal, you will be invoiced for the false alarm and it is due and payable. Now let's talk about the importance of knowing your alarm company's policies. When you choose your alarm system and monitoring company, they will have you sign a contract. You should make sure you thoroughly read the contract and ask questions regarding their policy on alarm cancellations. Have them walk you through the steps you need to take if you accidentally activate your alarm. You want to make sure you know what your alarm company expects you to provide in order to cancel an alarm call. Make sure they give you the correct telephone number to call if you need to cancel the alarm. The Phoenix Police Department allows an alarm call to be canceled if the police have not arrived on the scene of the alarm. I know we mentioned this earlier, but keep in mind that you, the subscriber, also has a duty to respond or to make arrangements for an alarm business or other responsible person to respond to the scene of an activated alarm within 30 minutes of the alarm activation. If you fail to respond to an alarm event within the required 30 minutes, you will be responsible for any costs to secure the property if the fire or police department has been dispatched. Earlier in our class, we touched on enhanced call verification. The city code mandates that alarm and monitoring companies adhere to enhanced call verification requirements. This means your alarm company is to make a minimum of 2 telephone calls in an attempt to contact a responsible party prior to requesting an alarm dispatch request. The 2 calls must be made to different telephone numbers. You can also make arrangements with your alarm company instructing them to call additional numbers or how to handle dispatch requests for false alarms as they pertain to your account. If you use a panic duress code or press an emergency panic duress button on your alarm or personal device, such as a key fob or cell phone, the alarm company will only call the police for dispatch. There will be no attempt to reach you to ask permission to dispatch. Panic or duress codes are treated as high-priority emergency calls. We want to provide more information to you about panic and duress alarms. An important feature on most alarm systems is a panic button, also known as a duress code. Businesses will commonly have a robbery or hold-up feature as part of their alarm system. The city code defines a robbery, hold-up, or panic alarm as any device designed for the detection of a robbery, hold-up, or the commission of an unlawful act within the premises protected by an alarm system and which may be intentionally activated by a person, generating an inaudible signal to the monitoring station and may or may not generate an audible sound at the premises. When these types of alarms are activated, there is no call to verify the validity of the alarm. Your alarm company will immediately dispatch police to your location when they receive a hold-up, robbery, panic, or duress alarm activation. There will be no use of enhanced call verification as these types of alarms are considered an emergency and police respond immediately. The city code also requires a dual action device for a hold-up or panic alarm. No alarm business shall install a single action non-recessed button as a device to activate a hold-up or panic alarm. If you find that you have a single action non-recessed button device installed at your home or business, contact your alarm company to discuss your options for replacement. Try to choose a duress code with digits on opposite sides of the keypad to prevent accidental activation. You should also make sure any devices that can activate a panic or duress alarm are kept out of the reach of children. We often receive calls where we are told that there were a series of alarm activations caused by technical difficulty or malfunction of an alarm system. If this happens to you within a 72-hour period of time, you may qualify for your alarms to be categorized as common cause. This means that this series of false alarms be counted as one false alarm. There are some qualifying factors to common cause, the first being your alarm system is repaired before it generates additional false alarms and you submit documentation of the repair to the alarm unit. The second requirement to qualify for common cause is that for a 30-day period following the repair, your alarm system cannot generate additional false alarms from the documented cause you provided to the alarm unit. Once you have submitted the required documentation requesting a series of alarms be labeled as common cause, it will be reviewed, and if it is found to be sufficient, you will be charged for only one false alarm. Remember, you have a 20-day time frame to submit an appeal for a false alarm. If you do not notify the alarm unit within the 20-day time frame, you forfeit your ability to appeal. An example of a malfunction is an alarm system that occurs on a Friday night at a business after the business has closed and causes 10 false alarms that night. On Saturday, another 10 false alarms occur, and on Sunday, the same thing happens again. Suppose all the false alarms were caused by a faulty sensor. Those 30 false alarms will be reduced to one false alarm, provided you have the faulty sensor repaired and submit proof of the repair. These false alarms are due to faulty equipment, which occur within a 72-hour period. The series of false alarms shall be counted as one false alarm only if the cause of the series of false alarms is repaired before it generates additional false alarms. Documentation of the repair is provided to the director of the police department, and during the 30-day period following the repair, the alarm system generates no additional false alarms from the documented cause. An act of God is defined in the City Code as an unusual, extraordinary, sudden, and unexpected manifestation of the forces of nature, the adverse effects of which cannot be prevented by reasonable human care, skill, or foresight. Such events include tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, and other similarly violent conditions. If during a bad storm, a tree was struck by lightning and fell into your residence or business, this could be considered an act of God. Depending on what causes a power failure, it may be considered an act of God. To have a false alarm reclassified as an act of God, there would be additional support required. An example would be a letter from your insurance company and/or power company with evidence in order to be reviewed. You can also call the City of Phoenix Alarm Detail to discuss the specific requirements of proof with a customer service representative. We are often asked if the storms that occur during Arizona's monsoon season are considered an act of God. The answer is, although weather is not within our control, it is also not considered an act of God. Along with the knowledge that the summers in Arizona are hot, you should also take into consideration that you will encounter storms and bad weather throughout the year. When you own and operate an alarm system in your home or business, you must also make arrangements to prevent false alarms due to bad weather or storms that are not considered to be an act of God. Remember, if you have any questions about a false alarm and you are unsure if it would qualify to be waived as an act of God, please call the alarm unit for information. Our customer service representatives are happy to answer questions and explain the city alarm code. I want to touch on a couple of items you can do in preparation for the Arizona monsoon season. The first item is to make sure that you check your alarm system's batteries. The Arizona heat causes the life of batteries to be shortened, and they should be checked or changed regularly in order to prevent false alarms. Storms that cause short power outages where your batteries are not able to keep your system active will potentially result in a false alarm assessment. The second item is make sure the doors and windows are tightly closed and secure. For this portion of the class, we want to discuss different parts of your alarm system and what to check in order to prevent false alarms. Check for gaps between sensors attached to doors. If there is a gap in the door between the door and the door jamb, with the wind blowing through those gaps, it may cause the door to rattle, resulting in your alarm system sending notification of sensor trip to your alarm company. You want to make sure the doors tightly close and securely latch. Windy weather should not trip a motion sensor on a window or door. Make sure all sensors are securely attached to doors and windows. Warping on doors and windows can cause your sensors to be misaligned. It is also good to note that a metal door or metal covered door may require stronger magnets in your sensors. Warped, old, or weather-worn doors or windows that are no longer in good shape can cause alarm sensors to activate. This is typically due to alignment issues caused by the 2 points of contact to no longer matching up on the door sensors. If you have a metal door or window frame, you may need a stronger magnet installed to compensate for the portion of the magnetic field being absorbed by the metal. If this happens to the doors and windows and does cause an alarm, call the alarm company and have them make any adjustments needed. They can make a simple adjustment, such as installing a more powerful magnet, which gives you a little more gap and allows a little more movement, which will reduce the chance of a false alarm. Have the windows and doors repaired by a licensed contractor as well. Let's discuss the alarm key fob or remote. These are remote control devices that let you arm, disarm, or in some cases, activate the panic feature on your alarm system by pressing a button on the fob. We're seeing a rise in false alarms caused by the key fobs. This occurs when the fob is placed in a purse or backpack and gets shuffled around when you move, causing the buttons to be pressed. In most of these cases, you don't even realize that you have activated the panic feature on the alarm system, causing the alarm company to dispatch officers to the location and consider it a life-threatening event or emergency. We touched on this subject earlier, but let's review the steps you need to take when testing your alarm system. In order to prevent police dispatch to your home or business unnecessarily, you should call your alarm company prior to performing any testing on your alarm system and ask them to set your alarm to test mode. Testing an alarm system consists of opening all the doors and making sure the motion detectors and sensors are all in good working condition. If you are performing these tests on your own, make sure you call your alarm company and ask them to walk you through the process. Once your testing has been completed, you should call your alarm company to let them know that you have finished testing your alarm system. We see a fair amount of false alarms that are caused by a failure to notify an alarm company prior to performing system testing. There have even been incidents where police arrive at the location of an alarm while there is an alarm company employee at the residence or business in the process of testing the alarm system. Testing your alarm system is also recommended after you have any work performed on your system. This is to make sure your system is operating properly. You are also required by the city code to have your alarm system inspected once every 12 months and that you keep a record of the inspection showing the date of inspection and the name of the person making such inspection. You need to keep the record of inspection for a minimum of 12 months. If the police department requests the documents, you will be given 72 hours notice to provide them. It is also important that you are aware that if 10 false alarms are incurred in a period of 12 months, you will be required to schedule a mandatory inspection of your alarm system at your own expense. Keep in mind that when you are notified of the required inspection, you have already incurred false alarm assessments in excess of $1,000. If you continue to accrue additional false alarms after the inspection, the penalty can result in additional fines up to $2,500 per incident. The inspection is designed to identify issues that you are having with your alarm system. In some situations, it has been something as simple as a ceiling fan placement that is causing the alarm system to trip. Another cause of false alarms has been forgotten mylar balloons that trip sensors inside a room or office. This inspection process can last from several hours to a full day or more, depending on the size of the location and how many sensors are present. When the inspection is a large business, the inspector will request several alarm company technicians to be present to speed that inspection process and save the company being inspected at additional cost. Let's summarize your responsibilities as an alarm system owner. First, make sure you have a current and valid permit for all your alarm systems. This includes burglar, fire, or even a do-it-yourself installed system. Check your batteries often and replace them regularly. Make sure everyone who has access to your home or place of business has proper training on how to correctly use your system. Make sure you know how to cancel an accidental activation of your alarm system. Remember, false alarms are preventable, and you can help reduce false alarms by following the recommendations we have discussed and shared with you as part of this false alarm prevention program. In order to waive one assessment for a false alarm, you must complete and submit the False Alarm Prevention Program questionnaire to the Phoenix Police Department's Alarm Unit. You can find the questionnaire on the City of Phoenix Alarm Unit page at www.phoenix.gov/police/resources-information/alarm-information. Once your questionnaire is completed, please submit it to the Alarm Unit by email at alarm.unit@phoenix.gov or fax it to 602-534-4334. Make sure you list your phone number or contact information for an alarm employee to confirm receipt of your class participation and to collect the class fee. Remember, the False Alarm Prevention Program is only allowed to be taken once in a 365-day rotating calendar time frame. You must have a valid permit on file, and you must complete the program and submit the questionnaire certificate within 20 days of the date on your initial notice of false alarm assessment. Thank you for taking the time to participate in the False Alarm Prevention Program. Please complete the questionnaire certificate and submit to the Alarm Unit to get credit for your attendance. Remember that the City of Phoenix Police Department's alarm detail is a resource for you, and our team is ready to assist if you have questions.